Hey guys, Protagonist24 here, and welcome to Clash of Legions. Now, this is a game that is very much based on or similar to the now deceased games Rise of Mythos and Kings and Legends. Now, they were like a card collecting, sort of battling, lane-based, turn-based game. This game is very much similar. I'm not sure if it's meant to be a carbon copy. It's not identical. It has some rough translations, it has some bugs, it has a different layout, a different map, but the core mechanics and the abilities of the cards are very much the same for the most part, as far as I've seen from my personal playing. Now, I play on a different server than the one I'm starting here, so we're going to be starting from the beginning together. And if you want to play this with me, be sure to download the game and let me know how much you enjoy the game, and if you did play Rise of Mythos / Kings and Legends or not. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the game. Okay guys, we've made it past the loading. Now, this is the tutorial sequence. So, welcome young summoner, I am your goddess assistant Zhao Ni. I'm assuming that's how you say that. You're a very talented summoner who can summon powerful warriors from magic cards to fight for you. Essentially, we take our card when its cooldown reaches 0 based on turns, and we will play it on the field. If you want to read through all this tutorial, go ahead and pause the video on each text box. I'm going to be skipping it to get through this as fast as possible. But I hope you guys are having a great day. If not, hopefully this video can help improve your mood and show you that a game such as Rise of Mythos exists again. This game is, I think, roughly 2.5 years old or so at the time of recording, so it is quite old for the state of the game, but it has received updates within the year in the last 5 months, so I do think that there will be future updates, hopefully, to hopefully improve on some bugs, hopefully add some new content, hopefully also my controller's disconnected, hold on, playing on a controller. There we go. Yeah. Hopefully they do continue to update the game, adding new content and adding some better like English in some parts, maybe better layout on some of the things, because the layout on some cards and stuff is a bit wonky. But yeah, this is the map, so it's gonna want us to continue on through here, so I'm gonna continue on to challenge number 2, stage 2. So let's go over this ability. It's gonna show us our cooldown of the card, so that's how many turns after you draw it until you can play it. And cards with alert, if you are familiar with Rise of Mythos or Kings and Legends, this is essentially the ability Vigilance. In this game it's called alert. Also, the name can only be up to 7 letters. Yeah, it's time. Let's click on the guy to see his abilities, but yeah, they'll prioritize attacking backwards and in lanes other than their own, so they're good for taking out people that have infiltrated your placement zones. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and skip the rest of this battle because it's pretty straightforward. It's just gonna tell us exactly what to do. There's not much more information to be gained here. I'll meet you guys in the third one. Okay guys, it's only been a few seconds since the cut, but we've obtained our card, the 5 attack 1 health bow lady. I'm not sure exactly what she's called. I'm not super familiar with the card names yet, but it's wanting us to drag over, so we will do so. So that's the deck editor there. So let's continue on with the tutorial. Hopefully we can get through this all in a timely manner and get to the point of actually playing for ourselves on free. So they have archers sniping our melee troops. Yep. So it has short bow plus 2 range. Some of the ability names are the same as they were in Rise of Mythos, but some of them are differently named but do the same things. A lot of the cards, I think, even stat-wise, are based on cards from Rise of Mythos. I can't remember a lot of the names now, as it's been years since the game shut down, but for the most part, I think most of the cards in this game are based on previous cards from Rise of Mythos / Kings of Legends. So, I can't remember. What is this? I guess let's put our alert one in this row. So these ones are called Guard. I think they were called, like, Paladin or something. Or at least the higher rarity ones used to be called, like, Paladin. I can't remember the exact names of old things, so forgive me. This one's a specially named one, Mercenary, Archer, whatever. So yeah, we have a Guard with heavy armor here. We'll be showing that pretty soon. Let's quickly claim our rewards. We do have quests. Like, a lot of the UI and stuff really reminds me of Rise of Mythos as well. Like, a lot of the UI looks very similar. The multiplayer dungeons, obviously, like the old arena that you fight the bosses in, that used to be up in this top left corner of the game on Rise of Mythos. And then the Blacksmith and Alchemy Lab are obviously still in the game for enhancing and stuff like that, improving your equipment and cards. It's very slow to go through this text box for some reason, but let's continue on here into the next tutorial battle. So there are often demons and bandits in this area. Let's teach them a lesson. We're also just practicing our skills. Yes. Okay, I'm just going to quickly try and speed through the rest of these. I'm not going to bore you guys with much more of this tutorial. Let's try and get to the content. Okay guys, here we are. This should be the end of this battle. There we go. We've gone ahead and claimed ourselves another warrior. And what does it want to teach us this time? Our strength is outstanding. Get a chance to transfer to a high-level profession. Okay. So this is where we get to pick our class. Let me just take a moment and think about what I want to do. This game is on mobile as well as Steam, and I'm not sure if anywhere else. I have not looked for it anywhere else. But I have experimented with Ranger and Mage so far, so I probably am going to pick either Warrior or Priest for this go-around. Just give me a moment to decide. Alright, we're going to go ahead and choose Priest, I believe. I want to experiment with the Priest skills to heal and buff health and the like. So we got ourselves a skill. It has a 2 cooldown, and it has the ability that it partially, or not partially, it sometimes has a chance. It doesn't sometimes have a chance, it always has a partial chance to return to my hand. English is hard, guys. I just can't speak sometimes. I'm a bit out of practice with the commentary. A large number of enemies are attacking us ahead. We are outnumbered. Don't be afraid, I'm here to help you. Automatic. Yeah, this battle automatically plays itself out, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip over this one. Okay, there we have dealt the finishing blow and unlocked ourselves what I believe was a card you get at the beginning of Rise of Mythos as well. Just a horseback rider with the ability Heroic, that when they deal damage they gain attack with 1 attack and 10 HP. I do remember that card specifically from the beginning of Rise of Mythos. It's teaching us here to draw cards. I do believe it's the same every time, because I believe I've got the same cards on my personal account and my phone account. And yes, we did in fact get the same cards. So you're always guaranteed the first same cards from your first normal pack and your first elite pack. The one thing I wish was in this game that used to be in Rise of Mythos is the race-specific packs, where you could open specifically like packs with only elf cards or only human cards or like half-bloods and like the other races, undead and stuff. Let's go ahead and use the automatic deck formation really quick here because it's telling us to. But yeah, in this game, you only seem to have just like a generic pack you can open. I do remember there used to be a generic pack as well. But if there is future updates for this game, I really hope they add more race-specific packs to purchase, because that would be very, very nice. So we're just playing this battle out on our own. Just gonna go ahead and use our cards. This shouldn't be very difficult. It shouldn't be very difficult in general for the early game, but at where I've reached now, it is getting beyond my ability to complete on my personal account, and I'll need to wait a few days and grind more to make any further progress. So as you can see, the horseman guy, Captain Heavy here, gains 1 attack when dealing damage and has bonus movement distance. Our guy is being taken out by this guy with alert here, so let's go ahead and use our healing. I'm not sure how much it's meant to heal by. I didn't read that, but let's go ahead and throw our warrior up top here. Ah, so it actually did end up returning to our hand off that 24% chance. That's nice. Let me just read the card here on my turn here when I can play it. Unfortunately, I can't read it until its cooldown's down. There's like small things like that that I wish where you could just like read your card anytime and stuff, but it's not like it's gonna be that hard to memorize them, so it's not that big of a deal. But okay, so it heals us for 6 HP and has a chance of returning to our hand after use, 24%. So let's go ahead and heal up our person that gains attack when they deal damage. We are just finished anyway though. We'll unlock a archer with the ability sniper, so they'll prioritize the lowest HP in their range. And I do believe that is the tutorial, so I'm gonna quickly head up here and to our login rewards and claim ourselves some stamina potions. The stamina system is you gain 1 every 15 minutes, so 4 an hour for a total of 96 per day. So it's honestly not too bad. You can't do too much right at the start, because you only start with like 20 or whatever, but after a couple days you'll accumulate more than you can use if you're not doing auto sweeps to gain XP from battle, and we'll get into that later. For now, I'm going to quickly go through, build myself a deck, and I'll be back with you guys when we finish doing that. Okay guys, we've finished completing our deck here. We've went along with these 8 cards. As we progress and gain more levels, our deck size will also increase. One thing when I first started playing this game is I thought the deck was confined to only 8 cards, and I was very concerned and disappointed. But as you progress, your deck size does increase, so that's nothing to worry about. But this is the 8 cards we've chosen for now. We have our guard. We have ourselves a Despicable Gargoyle. Has the ability Flight, so we can pass over non-flying troops, is blocked by other flying troops and walls and stuff that prevent flying over. Backstab, which I believe is the same name it used to have in Rise of Mythos. I can't remember what the card was in Rise of Mythos. They were called Tengus, I think. That the gargoyle is basically the same as, but it does double damage to enemies directly behind it, so it's similar to Alert, that it can hit enemies behind it that are already all the way up against my hero. That's why we have that in there, as well as being a fairly decent statted card for 1 cooldown. We have ourselves our Decon here, which is just like your basic healer type troop. Doesn't deal any damage, unfortunately, because it's such a low level and like the type of Decon it is, being a basic one, but it has treatment too, so each time it completes its move, it will heal my most damaged troop for 2. Pretty solid. This is the card I was contemplating whether or not to put in the deck, Heavy Crossbowman. It cannot attack after moving, but it does have good stats for a low cost, so I did put it in because we also lack any other ranged cards. We have in total 4, but 1 doesn't deal damage, so we essentially only have 3 ranged cards, but it's fine. Then we have our bow and arrow with a sniper, the advanced hunter. It used to be like an elf bowman or whatever they used to be called. I can't remember all the names. I'll try and stop comparing as well and start focusing more on what's in this game. But yeah, sniper prioritizes the lowest life in its attackable range, so that's good for taking out other archers and stuff behind perhaps heavy armor troops. We have our good old Captain Heavy. We've already gone over what that does. We already have our mercenary archer Weir, I think it's pronounced. I'm reading it off of the bottom of the card where it says 1 piece mercenary archer Weir. 1 piece means there's only 1 of it in the deck, 2 piece would mean there's 2. Yeah, like it's a bit rough around the edges. And then finally we have our 4-cost Almighty Warrior that will attack anything that attacks it within range. There was other cards that I was considering having in the deck. I originally had the 1-piece Shield Soldier, just for that heavy armor, but I decided to go with these 8 cards instead. I also was running the 1-cost Horned Eagle Scout, has flying and increased movement with a 2/5 stat line. Pretty good, but I decided I would rather have the healer in the deck instead. So if you click on the left hand side here on the card details, you can get a rundown of how many of each cooldown requirement gives you an overall deck power, the cooldown average curve of your deck, and the rarity of the cards in your deck. That's what I was trying to say at first, but I stumbled up my English a little bit. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into the map and do ourselves a battle with our newly constructed deck in the Liberator territories. And we'll earn ourselves a nice 4-cost heavy armor 2 unit known as Elite Infantry. Okay, so we'll still have a little bit of tutorial stuff going on here, but for the most part it's free play. This is just showing off heavy armor as an ability. Soldiers with heavy armor can effectively reduce physical damage and are very suitable for leading the role of shields. See, the English is a little bit scuffed. It's basically trying to say soldiers with heavy armor can reduce physical damage and are very suitable for leading the charge or being the frontline soldiers. It's a little rough, but our alert guy here is only 1 cost, so we're just actually gonna go ahead and pass our turn. Another bug there, I was trying to inspect this warrior and see what it was. We have a Berserker, which has counterattack, and then we have 4 elite rarity cavalries, 2 elite rarity cavalries, I was trying to say, 4 stars, my bad. We're gonna go ahead and throw ourselves our guard and our sniper onto the bottom lane here. The sniper should be able to deal with that Berserker before it can do any counter-attacking, hopefully. But I don't think it will. Okay, so our enemy has themselves a repeating crossbowman. I believe this was the name of a troop in Rise of Mythos. One of my favorites, actually, the one with heroic specifically. But we have a lot of options here this turn. Let's get our crossbowman, or let's get our counterattack in front. You always want to lead at least 2 melee units because they can only attack 2 squares, and you want to get your ranged units behind them. So we'll go ahead and throw our crossbowman into this lane. We'll go ahead and throw our mercenary archer Weir in the top lane, and then I'll pass without playing our gargoyle. But for the most part, this should be pretty much wrapped up. If I click on the enemy hero, we can see their stats of block and crit and how many cards they have left and such. So let's go ahead and throw down our heroic cavalry here, and we'll throw down our healer in the back here just to keep our troops topped up. But we shouldn't be taking any damage because we're completely behind the heavy shields, and I think this battle is basically impossible to lose because of that. So let's keep it going. As you can see, our advanced hunter has range +3, so we can actually shoot 5 tiles. And our mercenary archer also has the same ability. There is an ability called Marksman, I think it was called Marksman as well, before, that increases range by 4 tiles, which is pretty nice. But this should wrap up here on this turn, so let's pass the turn. One thing I miss about the battle interface is that you cannot press the spacebar to pass your deployment phase. But yeah, we've unlocked that Captain Heavy shield guy. So we'll go ahead and quickly return back to city. I may consider putting my mouse cursor in the video next time so that you can see a bit closer what I'm doing. But for now it's not on, but we're quickly going to make a change to the deck here, and I think the play is to remove the counterattack unit and put in our heavy elite infantry for some more shielding. I don't want to go too heavy on the 4-cost cards until our deck size is a bit larger. And let's go ahead and continue battling for now. On to Chapter 2, Stage 2. So we've opened up with a couple of our ranged units at first, which is not exactly ideal, so I'm just going to pass the turn. I want to get some melee troops down before I throw my ranged units down. We'll go ahead and pass again. When you pass when they're at 0, I think it goes like halfway back to their total cooldown, so if it's like 2 cost, it should only be 1 turn and come back the next turn anyway. This bottom lane is going to be a bit of a problem. It does 5 per turn currently, but I should be able to take out this front soldier and make this last 3 turns on our cavalry to get most out of its abilities. So we're going to go ahead and throw down an archer lineup behind the cavalry, and we'll throw our alert guy, the guard, in the top lane, and we'll also throw our healer down to try and keep our cavalry healed up for future turns here. So it's going to take 4 damage, which is fairly significant. Let's get a second melee unit into this top lane. It will in fact jump over the unit that has already attacked. Units with alert, if they take out an enemy, will not move after taking out an enemy, whereas normal troops will take out an enemy and then continue moving their normal distance. So we've got our heroic cavalry up quite a bit of damage here. I'm just going to be calling them by their ability names most of the time, because I really can't remember the names of the cards. I know this is guard, that's what Captain Heavy, we got elite infantry, I can't remember already. Yeah, elite infantry, and we got, I can't remember the 3/3 archer's name, advanced hunter. I know that's a nun, right? Yeah, we got a nun here. The ability is Sacred Judge, so they have increased range and their damage cannot be reduced, and whatever they take out cannot resurrect. The main ability of like undead troops. Okay, there we go. We've beaten the second battle in Chapter 2. Let's go ahead and head down to our quests and see if we've claimed anything here. Okay, we've claimed a helmet from that quest. We claimed a cowl from that quest. We did use our mining to get 30,000 silver already. And we've now reached level 8, so we can access the multiplayer dungeon, which has... I can't remember what it was called in Rise of Mythos, but it's like the boss arena. Not the multiplayer arena, but for like defeating... As you can see here, let me create one of these. We'll go ahead and do it as well right now. Let me quickly equip that armor I got from the quests first. So let me come down to my character screen. We'll open our starter gift box as well, which should give us a nun. I'm not going to put the nun in the deck right now. let's go ahead and open the level 5 gift box, and we have ourselves a vampire. I'll probably put that in the deck, actually. But for now, let's equip the rest of our armor here. As you can see, it doesn't say equip, it says equipment, but that's part of the poor translations in this game. For the alchemy room, funnily, or I can't remember, I think it's the alchemy room, when you go to combine your cards together to make an improved quality card, the button's not even translated, it's just in Chinese, I believe. I could be wrong, I don't know my Asian alphabets, so I'm not sure which language it is. Forgive me on that, but I do believe it is Chinese, because I've seen something about this game having Chinese as a translation in Steam, so hopefully that is the language and I'm not mistaken. But let's quickly throw in that new card we obtained, the Vampire, and I will be taking out, I think we'll take out the Crossbowman. This will unorganize the deck now, but it's not too hard for me to reorganize it. I'm just going to quickly take out these two cards, put in the Vampire, and then put in our other cards back how they were. I wish you could just drag cards around and organize the deck. That's another thing. Like, there should be a bit more filtering for, like, cost, for abilities, stuff like that. I wish there was a bit more to it. The deck builder could use some work, but it doesn't matter too much. This should be our new deck. We have the Vampire in instead of the Crossbowman, which has the ability Bloodsteal. I can't remember what that was called. It was called Lifesteal originally in Rise of Mythos. And when making a normal attack and causing damage, drain the same amount of life. So that should be a pretty useful card for us here early on in the game. I've went back to the map. I meant to go to the multiplayer dungeon. And after we wrap up our first multiplayer dungeon battle, I think we'll wrap up this video and move on to the next episode. Because I think I'm going to be recording a few episodes here. This is the dungeon now. So I've experienced a bit of a bug here, I believe, where okay, so I went backwards and now I'm in. So let's go ahead and start the challenge. I believe it'll give us an AI teammate because it's the lowest level multiplayer dungeon. My controller's disconnected again. 1 second. It is automatically concluded. No, I was going to click no anyway. Okay, so the Dwarf Elite is going to play a bunch of Dwarf Sentries in the middle lane. I do believe he has some abilities to like instantly smite for like a certain amount of damage. You also have a timer on your turns because this is a multiplayer mode. Let's go ahead and put a second melee unit in this lane. Throw down our archer, and I want to conserve our healer because I don't want it getting just smited by the Dwarf Elite. Okay, I've got a few more enemies coming down. Let me read this back guide. It's a Dwarf Berserker with counter attack, and these bottom guys are just Dwarf Warriors. I'm going to play another Elite. I don't know why I said Elite. I'm going to play another Guard with Alert in the middle lane. Middle lane's usually the best in 3-lane battles for people with Vigilance, or Alert rather. And because they can attack any of the 3 lanes. Right here, that should show pretty well. We got ourselves a Dwarf Archer, Dwarf Hunter, it's called. So I'm going to throw my Archer in the back here to take out this top lane some. And I'm going to throw my healer down because its abilities could be useful here now. As you can see, this middle lane's attacking the top lane with our alert guards. And our Nun, or Decon rather, has healed our Gargoyle up back to a decent life total. And the problem here lies in that this guy is now in our deployment lanes, this Dwarf Warrior. We don't have anything to play this turn apparently, but we do have this guard here, which will continue attacking it, and our Decon should be able to just clog the lane up until that is finished dealing with the Dwarf Warrior. So let's quickly throw our... I would like to get my heavy armor guy into the middle lane, but I don't think that's going to be happening. So let's go ahead and throw him in the top lane. Throw my vampire in the bottom lane. We're going to hold off on playing our cavalry for now. I think we have this pretty much in the bag. The Dwarf Elite is now out of cards, so we could just swarm the bottom lane with our vampire and cavalry and take the win, I believe. Top lane's also going to connect, and middle lane should also connect with those archers. So this one should be in the bag. I'll meet you guys when it concludes. Okay guys, this battle should be concluding here very shortly. Our cavalry has made his way all the way up there, and our archers will connect next turn for game. We have 8 on board up front, which leaves them with 1, and then that archer should finish it off. Nice. Okay. I'm definitely going to play my menu cursor next time, or show it in the video rather, so that you guys can see what I'm hovering over and trying to show you and explain. Bit of an oversight. So this is the same as the dungeons used to be in Rise of Mythos. We'll pick here. We've ended up with a nice archer, and we'll pick here. We've ended up with another guy. There's only a few guys in all of these rewards, as you'll see here in a second, so I'm happy that I did actually manage to get them. I wish I got the other back defense dwarf guy there, perhaps, or the silver armor, but that was the first of 6 free reward dungeons we can do today. It resets at 4 AM my time. So let's quickly... I believe it's 4 AM my time. I'm not sure if it specifies what time zone. It could be a different time. I haven't paid close enough attention because I haven't been awake that late. Let's finish this side quest. And it says, congratulations for reaching level 8, even though we've reached level 9. As you can see, there's a few bugs with the game, but we did claim a few cards, so let me quickly readjust the deck and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay guys, here is the new deck for now. We're only 1 level away from our deck size increasing a little bit. I've currently decided to take out our Decon, which is our healer. It should be going back in here shortly though, when our deck size increases to 10. And I'll probably also put this alert guard back in when we reach a 10 deck size, but for now this will be the deck. I've remained English. I've kept our gargoyle in here as our one way to deal with enemies that reach our hero with the backstab ability. Other than that, I've gone for just basic stat line guys pretty much. We also have our 5-turn cooldown dwarf poison archer, which is a 3/9 with 4 range in total that poisons them, making them take an extra damage at the end of their move for 5 turns, which is a very good card. I never received a card that powerful at the beginning of my other accounts, I don't think. So that's a very nice find from our first multiplayer dungeon battle. Let's quickly check our quests. We should have a quest. No, we have a quest for automatic deck formation and making a new deck. I'll be able to complete both of those and turn them in at the start of the next episode. For now, I'm going to leave this episode of Clash of Legions off here. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys used to play Rise of Mythos or Kings and Legends. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.